Yeah, how you doing, y'all? This Fred Ward with another episode of Count Time Now. You know, I wanted to make a pivot because I've been working with this young lady for some time. It's actually one of my colleagues, but I felt the need to really have you on this show, Shante, because of the work you're doing and your journey. And I think, matter of fact, I know that our listening audience need to hear it from a woman's perspective, you know, the struggle.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and to highlight some of the amazing work. You done got some awards last year and all that. I want to highlight that too. So, today on Count Time Now, I got a dear colleague of mine. I wanted to introduce herself, tell you where she's from, and we're going to get to it.
My name is Shante. I am I'm from Canton, Ohio, and I am statewide BFO. But we out here doing the work. Wherever the work may look, we picking up the shovels and we doing it.
Ain't no mystery to that. So Shante, so let me ask you this, because, you know, Count Time Now, you know, we set this up because we actually trying to educate.
For sure.
Not only the general public, but a particular audience of our demographic. So, you've been incarcerated.
I've been incarcerated.
Okay, you've been incarcerated. See, you don't look like, you know.
Don't get it twisted.
You got the tattoos all, you know, side of your head.
Don't get it twisted.
Right. So, at what age did you actually experience the criminal justice system?
Other than your typical pullovers, I probably in 2015 I really experienced the criminal justice system.
Okay.
I didn't understand that somebody once told me once the metal touches your wrist, you are considered, reentry or, know.
That's another demonstration.
Yeah.
Back of that car, the real, I don't know if you got to experience that car, but, you know, they lightweight need to quit playing with that backseat of that.
Man, uncomfortable.
But
if it wasn't uncomfortable, we'll keep going back, right?
That was almost a little traumatic experience for me.
Traumatizing.
Yeah, because I'm tall.
Yeah.
So, you know, hands tied with that metal.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been playing around anyway.
Yeah, that's a
factual statement.
All right, we sidebarred. Okay. But, so, 2015, so how old was you when you actually end up incarcerated?
So, I was a late bloomer.
Yeah.
So, I ended up being arrested at 32 and going inside, being convicted in June of 2016 at 33.
Wow. Now, at 32, if you didn't bypass, so let me ask you this. I gotta ask this. So, up until 32, was you known like troublesome and she watch Shante? Was you one of them people that stayed in stuff, and we knew you was like a rascal, right? But you just didn't get caught, or was you one of the ones that you a do-gooder, and then at 32 it's like, man, ain't no way in the world Shante is locked up?
So that's a good question.
Right.
Had me stuck for a second.
Right.
So for me, it was a little bit different.
Okay.
So I always did stuff, dirt.
Okay.
I just was polished.
Okay.
Always kept a job, always worked, went to culinary, all these other things, worked hard, did a 48-hour. But I was still in the streets. I'm from the hood, so I sold a little weed here and there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, so
I wasn't clean
you was
cut.
a functional.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right, okay. That's that 1 foot in, 1 foot out. We talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
The public should know what 1 foot in, 1 foot out mean. That's a classic example. She did it all the way to 32.
Yeah.
So, man, at 32 going on 33, you in what, Marysville? Where you at?
I was sentenced to Marysville.
You were sentenced to Marysville?
Yeah, at June 30th. I know the exact day I was sentenced.
How was that? You had never been locked up before?
Never.
And at 32 going on 33, you inside a women's...
Traumatizing. Shook me to the core.
I would think so.
So a little back history, my aunt did time, and she old school. So she calls me on the phone, she
prepping you.
Prepping me. Because when I think about it, I think about the TV show, Locked Up. I don't want to have to go in there and beat nobody down. It ain't nothing about. So my aunt prepped me,
That's deep.
Deep.
Come on, I want to hear about that, because I got prepped too.
You got prepped.
I got prepped going in as a youngster.
Yeah. So my aunt prepped me, but my aunt went in when she was old.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So she went in, and so when my family heard that, found out that I was going inside. We didn't know how long, but I was going inside.
Right.
My aunt, she's a comedian within herself. She's from Cleveland, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And she calls me on the phone, and she's like, listen. And I'm like, what? What's going on? Listen very closely.
Right.
You're going to have to go in there knocking people out.
This is the 10 crack commandments.
Yes.
One.
And so she broke it down to me. Either you work in the chapel or you work in it, And so
I want to hear, I need a few because I got 3 things when I got prepped going into, I was in the county.
Okay.
Old heads gave me 3 things.
Okay.
Not to do. They said, if you don't do these 3 things,
For sure.
you're going to be okay.
For sure.
So I want to hear what Aunt said. She said, what?
So my aunt tells me there's a thing called 2 for 1. I didn't understand that.
Oh, yeah, that's business.
That's business.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah.
And so she said, don't go in there lending and borrowing, getting stuff from person, because if you get one thing, you owe them 2. And I was like confused, like, what? How's that even a thing?
Yeah, that's business, yeah.
And so she
or
said,
you get the 2 for 3.
Yeah, 2 for 3. Yeah,
You
for
know.
sure. Know that game too. And so she just began to break it down, and kind of like my anxiety. I have really bad anxiety anyway, just naturally as a person.
So it's on
a million.
right?
Yeah.
Right,
So
okay.
she broke it down to me.
Okay.
She told me I want to keep to myself, which wasn't hard because in the streets I kept to myself. I'm not one to be out here acting a fool. And so she said either work in the chapel, work in the chow hall.
Right, okay.
And she said those are your only 2 jobs you were even concerned about.
Okay.
And she said don't 2 for 1 anybody.
Okay.
And so I thought I was golden.
Okay. Now watch this. On the flip side, me going in there, they told me 3 things. They said, Fred, 3 things. If you don't do these 3 things, you're going to be smooth. They said, don't gamble inside.
Okay.
They said, don't sell drugs inside.
Okay.
Or use drugs, because, And they said, stay away from, those relationship deals. Stay away from the relationships. Stay away from drugs, using or selling, and don't gamble in a joint, and you'll have a smooth ride. That's what they told me.
See, so at least in my experience in the inside, gambling wasn't a thing.
Really?
Like, yeah, we gamble, but it wasn't like, I'm going to gamble my whole life away. I think women's institutions is a little bit different. You spent money on other things versus, y'all in the back stall shooting dice. That's not, that ain't.
Okay. That ain't really,
that ain't a thing.
Man, okay. All right, that's good stuff.
So I understood going inside, like my aunt prepping me. I knew I couldn't be, I had to be a tougher version of myself.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I'm a kind-hearted person.
Okay.
And a lot of times, at least in the streets, before all this took place, I'm one to give people over chances.
Yeah.
So my aunt, she knows me. She's been mom my whole life, and she was just like, cut that out.
She
said, you got to walk in hard because they're going to test you.
Yeah.
And I thought she was joking.
Yeah.
No, but with the first week of there, I was about ready to knuckle up.
For real?
For real.
They like, this she's sweet.
Over where my box was placed in between the intake.
They ain't trying to take your groceries, is they?
Nah.
They trying to take some stuff?
They just didn't want me to put my box, like the lady's like, hey, I told you not to put your box here.
Oh, they trying to see if they can get it off on you.
Trick no good.
Yeah, okay. Oh man. So how long did you have to encounter this type of, internal behavior? How long was you in?
I was in 3 years.
Was it 3 years?
3 years.
3 years?
I was looking at 28.
Damn.
Yeah. It was election year, and I was in small town America.
They about to bust your head.
Crack my head. She was trying to make an example of.
And you end up with 3.
3 years.
Blessing. You had some grace.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to move this because I know all the exciting stuff you're doing now.
For sure.
Right. So we ain't gonna stay in the joint. But what was a couple lessons? You went in, got a shock treatment. You got anxiety already. What was a couple key lessons you learned that helped you in your transition coming home from being in there?
Number 1 lesson, I'll never forget it. I'm standing in the intake in the common room. They called it the intake room. Okay. And a lifer walks up to me. Her name is Carrie Pollard. She's serving 25 to life.
Okay.
And so I'm looking out into the yard. Mind you, in the women's prison, there's an intake area that's gated up. So you can see into the yard to where everybody is, but you can't go.
Wow.
And so she says, you got 1 or 2 options. She comes behind me and she says, hey, Metcalf, you got 1 or 2 options. And I'm looking at her like, well, who are you talking to?
Right.
And she says, you can either bury your demons in the soil that this ground stands on, or you can continuously come back and I'll see you back.
Because she a lifer. She there.
She there.
That's good game.
It shook the core of who I was. I had a choice at that point. All the garbage and all the things that I was carrying that brought me to incarceration, I had to make a decision within hopefully sooner than later, but within those 3 years, whether I wanted to purge those things I was carrying or I wanted to hold on to them and eventually circle the block. But mind you, a bunch of staff said that I would return to the prison.
Really?
Yeah.
But they counted you out.
Counted me out.
Wow.
And
Did
so
you
that
come back?
I mean, I go back now, but I go back with.
You get to go back. You get to leave.
I get to leave, so it ain't no like.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a whole lot. Man, that's a whole lot different.
That's a whole lot different.
What?
When they call you and invite you in versus somebody dragging you in.
Yeah.
It's a whole different feeling.
It is, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I go inside too. Not as often as I want to.
For sure.
But I go in there, and it never ceases to amaze me how, like, you walk in there, and even though it's gated, a lot of these institutions look like a college campus.
Exactly.
Right?
For sure.
But I know that, like, no, this dude done been inside of here for 45 years.
For sure.
Or 50. Right? And so it's always a thing for me, like, besides the fencing and all that, it don't look like a hell of a bad place. They even got institutions now where they like training dogs and you
dog
see little
program
dogs walking
and Northeast pre-release here in Cleveland, Ohio.
But
the women can go outside the prison and work in the community and come back in.
Wow, that's good. Well, hopefully them coming back in, they don't have to keep coming back in too long. Hopefully that's a step down.
For sure.
Like on their way to like
a level 1.
Yeah.
For sure. My question, I got one question for you.
You do.
Okay, so
interview change.
Yeah, so just a little bit. So I just mentioned that I go back inside.
Yeah.
And you said you sometimes do. And do you still get butterflies when you go inside? Or have you shook that?
Yeah, I don't I've been home 27 years and counting. So I don't necessarily get butterflies, but I get really mixed emotions.
Okay.
When I see people that was inside when I was inside, right? Because I'm like, I did 10 years. I've been home damn near almost 28 years. And to see somebody that did the 10 years with me.
Still in there.
And still in there, I know you at 38 years. So I'm like, man, it's like, yeah, so it's always a thing. My buddy Eric Miller, he just recently came home.
Congratulations.
From doing 38 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm really, he ready. He probably been ready, but, they got 38 out of him for the daddy old. Now you got to deal with the collateral sanctions.
Absolutely.
That's a
whole nother story.
Yeah. But, yeah, so not necessarily butterfly, but you be getting butterfly?
Yeah.
Why?
Only because every time I go back inside, I turn back into that woman who was walking in those gates.
At the beginning?
At the beginning.
Give me more of that. You said you turned back into that woman. So I
emotionally and mentally.
Okay. So is it you relive the moment that you went in there? You go back to the time you went in and remember like the traumatic experience of
absolutely.
First, yeah, okay.
I mean, with the whole squatting and coughing, being surrounded in a room with women, and y'all all got gowns on, and just the anxiety of like, what is my next 3 years gonna look like?
Yeah.
And so maybe not when I go in, but definitely when I pull up to any institution that I went to Mansfield and spoke at Mansfield, and even that same anxiety of
that was men's correction.
Yeah.
How was that? I ain't never spoke in a women's prison. I actually would like to do that.
It was different.
I bet.
But at the same time, the struggle and pain is the same for both men and women. And so for me to have the opportunity to go share my story and share my journey, I could see in the men's eyes that it brought healing to them in some way, in some shape or form. Because pain is pain.
Pain is pain. Okay. That's wow. Yeah. So you home now.
Oh man,
Fresh out the gate.
fresh out the gate.
Did you know you was coming home when you came home?
Yeah, I knew my
You
time was in. Yeah, I kind of feel it.
Because you was new law.
Yeah,
So you knew you was.
yeah.
See, I was old law. You the old law. You don't know if you going home or not.
Oh no, I knew I was
can't
coming home.
stand old. I hate old law.
Yeah, that's
So
before my
you
time.
at least knew you was coming
Yeah,
home.
for sure.
Was you ready?
I wouldn't say ready. I tried my best to be.
Okay.
I mean, we got one or two options. We can prepare, or we can't, or we don't have to prepare.
Okay.
I think I did my time in a manner where I tried my best to prepare, purge and prepare. The 2 P's.
Okay.
Purge
Purge.
and then prepare.
Okay.
And so that took a whole different level. I mean, me preparing is a process. It's not a light switch. And so, I had to really just turn the gears off of what people thought of me and really self-internalize who I was as a woman.
What you said? What people thought of you? You said coming home, it was judgment on you. Like, do you feel like coming home?
Absolutely.
Now you got like you are convicted.
Absolutely.
This
is why I moved the way I moved when I came home. I worked really hard in a t-shirt factory because in my mind, being a first-degree felon, no one was going to hire me.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, coming out the gate, even inside, I started, when I was inside, I started doing like being a porter and cleaning and things like that, preparing myself, to start my own cleaning business. So when I came home, I could feed me and my son.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you had a son. You had a son before you went in?
He was 3.
That was hard.
Yeah.
So you did them 3 years away from your son.
I did.
That was a whole nother level of emotion, right?
Oh, super level of emotion.
Yeah. See, away from your kids, but 3 years, that's real time. But I'm thinking like some people, they be away from their kids like forever. So
10, 15 years.
Yeah. They be grown with kids.
Yeah,
they be,
for sure.
They be a baby and grow up. They got kids and it's hard. So came home. Was your transition easy?
No.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. Only because, when you're inside, at least in the state of Ohio, you can't choose what place you go.
Okay.
Whether it's going to a halfway house. They tell you where you're going.
Okay.
And so, for me, it was different. First, they wanted to send me to Youngstown. I was like, no, my crime was committed in Tuscarawas County.
Yeah.
That's way too far from my family. And then they opted out in Akron. I've always driven through Akron, but I didn't know anything about Akron.
Okay.
And so I was dropped off there, and I had to figure it out.
Wow. Okay. So, home now.
Yeah.
Back with your son. Was it like immediate that you was able to get back with your son?
Yeah. I still see my son every weekend. So
okay,
yeah.
Okay. It's funny because I'm actually seeing you, fresh home, trying to get in the spot, and and the judgment coming home, and so when did you like? And I'm assuming, when did it get easier for you?
That's a big question. I was gonna say,
or is it easier? It could still be quite challenging.
I wouldn't say quite challenging.
Okay.
I said 7 years home, and I'm starting now to see the blueprint because it's been a blur before.
Well, shout out 7 years home. 7 years home is significant.
Yeah.
That's
so
beat recidivism already.
Already. So I would say like I've learned to love myself and acknowledge Shante so I can move in the manner that I need to move for the betterment of myself, the betterment of my son, and ultimately the betterment of my community. Because I don't want any person, man or female, to ever have to walk through those gates and suffer inside, but not only inside, but suffer on this side with what we call collateral sanctions. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. No, self-care is so important. And healing, too. Like, I was in a cohort. I'm really thankful for this cohort I was in. I was in a cohort with, like, Desmond Mead and my girl, Charlene. Charlene, that's my go-to. And it was a cohort of all directly impacted people. But how they highlight healing and somatic healing, right? It was new to me, but I realized that coming home and trying to do this work and trying to prove myself in a society that had already condemned me, that I was living a very compartmentalized life. Like my mind, body, and spirit wasn't connected. It was like I had to turn my heart off and do this, and then I had to, deny my body to do this. I didn't have, and I think that being an organizer, working in this space, that I have an obligation as I'm trying to lift other people such as myself to create markers in the road where they can actually think about healing and becoming a whole person, right? So, yeah, so you when you was out, you actually found some time to get with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that process began early. I mean, towards my later time in prison, I went to prison a bitter person, frustrated. Okay. Frustrated at the higher power for taking my mother away, to frustrated at the higher power for me being inside. And so I was confusing, me personally, I was confusing religion and relationship.
Yeah.
And so until I got that dynamic together, I wasn't able to have a voice. I was only speaking according to what people told me. And so towards my end of my sentence, I was able to understand that, yes, I have a voice, and yes, how I feel and what I think matter. And so, which kind of, during my transition, I was able to mold more into that and to be here today and say that, I stand on business because I am business.
Yeah. Okay.
And everything that I say that comes out of my mouth is if Shante's truth, then nobody else's truth. And so, when you move forward, especially for me, being a African American woman who has come from poverty to living in, suburbia America, to making a mistake and being a different person today, it's important for me to live out that, I don't have to stand in the shadows of a man or anybody. I can have my own voice. And actually, I can be on the front lines with brothers like you fighting the fight.
Shit, I'd rather have you on the front line than some of these brothers I know. Because I know you going to stay down for the game. Yeah, you heard me say it. I said it. But our women strong anyway.
We are.
You know who my most celebrated hero is? You know who?
Who is that?
Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman.
I knew that. I just wanted you to say it.
Man.
And how tall was she?
Man, she was about 5'3", 5'4". Hey, man, when I think about that woman.
For sure.
She is the epitome of every single thing that I could aspire to be, to have the courage to be.
That's dope.
Yeah. I think I ain't got no tattoos on my body. I think I'm gonna get a tattoo, Harriet on my something. I gotta get something.
Oh yeah.
I feel that connected to it. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
deep.
Yeah. I ain't gonna get no Chapo. I ain't gonna get Gotti on my arm. I ain't doing nothing.
Something to matter, right?
Straight Harriet.
Straight Harriet. That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So look. So like now.
Yeah.
You done been through the storm.
Yes.
You done figured some stuff out.
I have.
You done redefined for yourself your own worth and value.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so and you play a big role in the reentry community.
I do.
I want to commend you on that. I got an award for you too. You don't even know, but I think I might have jumped the gun saying that. Yeah. Based on all the stuff you do, like you do emergency. So tell us a little bit about that.
So one of my favorite verses in the Bible is, "To much is given, much is required."
Yeah.
And so the fact that God gave me freedom, I'm required to help others.
Come on.
And so because of that, I had two choices coming home from prison. I started my cleaning business. It was successful.
Okay.
Had an invitation to share my story at a reentry program in Akron when I first came home. And I can remember being in my car. To this day, I could tell you exactly where I was at. Wow. And it hit me. God said, you got one or two choices. You can chase paper.
Chase that paper.
Chase paper and continue to circle the blocks and be and get in, try to be sneaky and geeky, or you can find purpose.
Purpose versus paper.
And I will always provide.
Man, purpose versus paper. That's a T-shirt.
That's a T-shirt.
If I see it out here,
I already got it.
I want some acknowledgement. No, because, they still, Cleveland is they still ideas, man.
For sure.
Paper versus purpose.
Yep.
Man, I'm going to use, it's a lot of people I know chase that paper.
Yep.
Even in the organizing work I do, they be like, hey, Fred, man, I love what you're doing, but, man, how we going to make some money off this? I be like, man, you don't even know what this is yet.
No joke.
And you coming to the table talking about
paper.
How you going to turn it, monetize it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And so he had this hit me with this conversation, and so when I had that conversation with God in my car, I knew then that I was going to have to scale back on my cleaning company, invest in the souls of people and not the surface. Ooh, don't get me started.
Yeah.
And so then my reentry footsteps began.
Wow. Yeah.
And so that was 6 years ago, almost 6 years, 6 years ago. So I went from Akron, being the director of women's reentry there. Yeah. And then, I grew up in Canton. Okay. And so we would send people to Canton all the time. And we would get phone calls like, there ain't nothing in Canton. There ain't nobody doing nothing in Canton. Yeah. And so.
Prodigal daughter came home, huh?
So I went home and, I told myself by any means necessary that I was going to make it happen. I just had to have faith. Yeah. And from that point, I became the reentry director for Stark County. Yeah. I've been on the reentry task force and, just doing the 1-2 and just pushing through.
Wow, this big. Flowers while you're still alive. Listen, though, and I know that you made impact in Canton. Because I came down to Canton. You know what I'm about to say. I came down to Canton, me and my colleague and most trusted ally, Donovan, and we walking downtown going to get something to eat.
Yeah.
And literally, God is my witness, it had to be about 15, 20 people in cars that was like, hey, Shante, what's up? No. I'm like, and then there was some people walking. Like they looked like a prosecutor or something. It was like prosecutors and lawyers or something walking downtown that was like, what's up, Shante? We definitely got to get on schedule. Boom. I'm like, man, who I'm walking with? Right? I said that
For
then.
sure.
I'm like, man, what is this about? Like the impact, and they were smiling too. It wasn't like they was about to, get this, firing off at us. They were smiling and like, I could see the investment that you've been pouring into that city.
For sure.
It was amazing.
I think to hit off that a little bit, Fred, I take it really personal that I have to be the difference that the community sees if somebody is directly impacted. Somebody got to be. So when somebody comes behind me, there ain't no second look. They could just say, hey, it don't matter what they did. It's about what they doing right now.
So you modeling the work.
I'm modeling the work.
I feel that. I feel in many ways I do that too. Because I've always felt that judgment. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, no, I'm more than that.
For sure.
And I feel that we more than that, at least some of us. Some of us put a black eye on us.
They do.
And they need ass whooped.
For sure.
That belt to ass. They need belt to ass. Those that come home, get a second chance, and you still do some dumb, goofy, criminal stuff.
For sure.
You need belt to that ass. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm the one that said it. But look, here go the pivot right here. So you doing the reentry.
Absolutely.
You director this, director that. You got the emergency shelter houses going and all that.
For sure.
And here we come.
Here you come.
Here we come. Here we come with what was our demo? What we come here?
I said, look at these jokers. Come like 10 deep. Ooh. One had a bright yellow suit on, I said,
we said we coming to do what? We coming to build some power.
Yeah, you said come to build power. You had your little, I don't know what you're covering on. It was deep. It was deep.
Did you buy it?
Hell no, I ain't buying into it.
You ain't buying into it? You talking about we gonna build some power for direct impact?
Didn't even understand.
You ain't go for it?
Didn't go for it.
Okay.
Didn't go for it.
A lot of people don't go for it.
It's a lot to take in. You got to be prepared to understand the value. And if you don't have the historical context, then you will forever be lost.
Yeah. We've been vibing for some years.
Yeah. About 6.
Yeah, see, that's what and I tell people, this ain't no short ride.
It ain't.
You know, a lot of people, and some people that's listening to the show, they gonna know I got a phrase that I always use, and it's so true. I need you.
For sure.
Right? I told you that, didn't I?
For sure you did.
I told Big Brother that too. I told Donovan. I tell everybody that I see that's home and navigating through this system and circumstances, I need you. Because I know that, you know, in order to get what we deserve in this life, we have to have relational power that's tied to a shared self-interest.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so, like, when did it, because I know you 10 toes down with me now.
10 toes.
I ain't second guess. You can't tell me nothing. You know, I'll send Shante and won't go myself because I know it's covered.
For sure.
When did it spark for you?
So for me, if I was being honest, it was
an honest space.
I would have to say, so y'all came and y'all left.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was my conversation with your sister.
Okay, Sheila.
And so when Miss Sheila hit me with, I don't have a family, I'm just a family member of a person with, I began to really mourn the fact that my 3 years inside wasn't just about me. It was about my family, my friends, my faith community, and my community as a whole.
Yeah.
So I understood, like, the train and how I took everybody with me.
Yeah.
And for me, it's different. Like, okay, so we talk about different things we got going on in BFO. And so the film movement, and I always picture this in my mind. You got the train going, right?
Yeah.
And the train is going through the town.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's a sense of urgency.
Okay.
So if we go back to much is given, much is required.
Come on.
That verse, right? So when it hit me like a ton of bricks and I was able to understand that we are systematically locked in for the rest of our lives, locked down for the rest of our lives, I couldn't do nothing but educate myself more so I can attempt to truly free us and our people. And so as I learn and I obtain knowledge on bills and things of that, House bills and Senate bills, I run back into my peoples and educate them that you got to be a registered voter. You can't keep complaining, because if you're not a registered voter, you can't make change. If you don't care about the bills that are going on in your in the state house and things are going on in your community, you're just an op, as we say. You're an op. And so I'm on fire for it now.
No, that's real. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you, it's two things that struck me. But so we was preparing some trainings.
We were.
I gotta say this. I needed my brother. So yesterday, I got some young organizers that's been around this movement for like some years.
For sure.
They've been around this movement for years, and we just created this amazing model.
We did.
Called the film movement, family, faith, friends, impacted, which is us, liberation movement. And so we in this training. I got one of my younger brothers who I love dearly. And so we reading about this case that it was a judge in 2000, a federal judge in 2016. The her last name was Nesbitt.
Yes.
Chevelle Nesbitt was a younger sister who got caught with like 600 grams of cocaine at the airport. And the judge said in his statement that I'm not going to give you any jail time because the collateral sanctions and consequences you going to face going to last for the rest of your life. And that's punishment enough. It was a groundbreaking decision by a federal judge. But what struck us was that the young organizer we had right at the table, we was talking and we was like, okay, we got to have shared language. You know, what is film? What is a conductor? You know, these are some very important titles of our movement, right? And, you know, he was, you know, fumbling around, you know, with what is a conductor, you know, what is a passenger. And when I was reading the article, right, and I got to 600 grams of cocaine,
he yells out.
He said instantaneously, oh, man, you understand that, boom, that's a little bit over half a key, right? And I'm like, we bust out laughing because so my other colleague Donovan was like, man, no you didn't. No you didn't just give us such a concise overview of like how much cocaine is, because I'm sitting up and thinking 600 grams, how many ounces is that? You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. I was still trying to figure it out. It's been so long.
For sure.
And he knew.
Yeah.
And we bust out laughing because I say, okay, so then, I say, well, maybe we need to frame our language because a conductor, and don't hold this against me, good citizens, right? It say speak to the language and people understand. So I was like, to be a conductor, you need 10 passengers that's registered to vote or willing to register. So I said, maybe I need to say 10 ounces. You understand? If you get one Ziploc bag, you understand? If you got 10 ounces in a Ziploc bag, that's a conductor. The Ziploc bag is the conductor, the 10 ounces is the passenger, right? And we bust out laughing because we realized that when we started talking about cocaine and ounces and all that, he knew. Without
a shadow of doubt.
He wasn't stuttering. He was just, and man, we should have had that on film. It was hilarious, right?
It was.
But, man, so we got to make sure that we, in this movement, we have to speak to our people, our constituents, in the language in which they understand. That's why it's so important for us to get younger, people that's actually directly impacted too.
For sure.
They got the YNs, they got the half zip, they got all these different variations of our people that they categorize and label. And a lot of times those labels ostracize and exclude us from each other.
They do.
I think that it's a role we have to play to take the narrative back.
And it's intentional.
Yeah.
I mean, for our society to label is an intentional thing.
Yeah. What was that we said? We said we was going to switch the language like these youngsters, they know what an AR is.
Yeah.
And we was going to say, we're going to turn the AR to a VR.
VR.
We say VR, they don't know what VR is.
Voter registration.
Voter registration. So we're going to start snatching narratives.
For sure.
Right? Like I know the young kids, they was talking about 6'7". Well, we going to start talking about 280. 280. Because we know that we need 280,000 registered voters based on how many people is eligible in Ohio to actually make significant change based on some research that was done at Harvard University.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're going to start stealing narratives. But so much, right? And got a book coming out too. I don't know if they can see the book, but we got that joint coming out, and my man Steph designed the book cover. So we're going to give a shout out to my man Steph, who designed the book cover, The Loss of American Citizenship. It got straight work in it.
Man.
If you don't understand,
Buckle up.
You're going to understand.
Buckle up.
I want to give another shout out to, Guardians of Democracy. That's my people, Popular Democracy. They got a program that's running across, 30-some states.
Absolutely.
And we partners with them on trying to actually reframe democracy in Ohio. So we want to give a shout out to Popular Democracy too. But man, hey, this is what we doing, right?
This is what we do.
We should have been on this show.
We should have.
But we was busy.
We was doing the work. Doing the work.
Hey, look, me and Shante, we got some stuff coming up. Like I said, the last 2 days, Shante came to Cleveland. We've been doing some planning. We've been preparing some trainings, right, for our people to make you understand what it is and what it ain't. So I just really want to let y'all know, Super Soldier, our sisters in the field working, changing policy, changing legislation, helping our people as they come home. And I want to honor you today.
I appreciate that.
You're amazing. And I'm so thankful to be in relationship with you. I can't find a better person to fight with, right? So I just want to give you a little snap. We're going to be back. We're going to do some other things. We're going to keep you posted. This Fred Ward checking in. Count time now. We live on 105. But that's my dude Prophecy show, but we still live. Fred Ward checking out for now, though.